going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be doing a champion spotlight for Sigmund the Highshield, the current Fragment Fusion champion combination going on here. Is it going to be worth it for you to pursue? If you do have him, where are you going to use him? These are the questions I'm going to hopefully answer for you guys today, as well as how to build him, master him, and where he's going to shine the most. So let's get right into it. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, like this video, let me know. We have a Bannerlord legendary defense champion. He looks pretty good. I do like the facial hair they have on him. Overall, a unique add and feel to the Bannerlord faction. Awesome shield. Awesome sword here. Cannot complain too much about the way he looks. Moving on to the A1 Fairer Fight. We have an A1 removing any shield buff, also giving him a 50% chance of removing one random buff with a 75% chance instead when attacking bosses. This goes up to 100% with bosses and 75% against non-boss enemies. So definitely a strong A1 here, nothing too crazy. Moving on to the A2 Battlefield Beacon. Attacks all enemy, each hit has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn, 75% chance of placing attack down for 2 turns. This goes up to 70% chance to provoke and 95% chance of decrease attack, meaning you will need the mastery, which I'll go over a little bit later. Sniper here to make that a full 100%. Moving into the A3, we have places a shield on all allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Also placing a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns, 3 turn cooldown, 5 turn if this champion is not booked. Now we have the passive Equitable. Whenever this champion is attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn, has a 40% chance instead when attacked by a boss. So clearly they're aiming for a boss synergy on this champion here. And after reading the kit here, he does look like a cross between Harvest Jack and Stag Knight. Of course, we're missing the very useful defense down and decreased speed from a Stag Knight, as well as the CC from a True Fear from Harvest Jack, but we do have reducing the duration of buffs on the passive, removing buffs on the A1 ability, and AoE provoke, even though it isn't 100% chance, which in my opinion it probably should be once fully booked. Finally, the aura, increasing ally defense in Doom Tower battles by 40%. Now moving on to Masteries, how I would master this champion, I would head straight down to War Master for that extra boss damage, because he does seem to have a kit reliant on boss damage, and this is what I would do for the support tree here, giving you turn meter for buffs as well as debuffs, since we have an equal. Since we have a pretty solid amount of both of these on this champion. Increasing the value of shield buffs that this guy's going to cast, reducing turn meter on hit, extending the duration of that attack down if we can, sniper as I did mention before, and some more health. As far as how I would gear this champion, absolutely accuracy, speed with HP on the banner. As far as the necklace goes, defense or HP, really focusing on accuracy on the substat, HP on the ring with any defense you can find. For the sets here, these are pretty self-explanatory. We have Immortal Gear, we have Divine Speed, and finally Speed. Unfortunately, I wanted to get him to 100% crit rate just for that extra added value, so we are using 5-star boots here, but we're always going to run Speed boots. I would recommend HP percent or accuracy if you cannot hit whatever accuracy threshold for the content you're doing. HP percent boots. As far as the weapon, helmet, and shield go, fill in any other stats, focusing on speed, accuracy, defense, and HP. Don't worry too much about crit rate unless you are late to end game. Looking at the total stats, 89,000 health, 2,900 defense, 244 speed, 100% crit rate, 109 crit damage, and 276 accuracy. So with that being said, where can we use this champion? Faction Wars, easy cop out. You can always look to Faction Wars for a champion like this. Can help you in Doom Tower if his affinity does work out on the wave you're currently on. He is blue affinity, not void. If he was void, he would be much better. So you are going to have to take into account any type of negative affinity champions, as weak hits are not going to be good for this champion. But attack down strong, the survivability he does bring to the team, as we're going to see from my showcase, is going to be extremely strong, especially when facing champions with a lot of buffs. So with that being said, I know this is a touchy subject at the moment. I decided to go with it anyways. I am going to be using the nerfed version of Urogrim. Those of you who don't know, Urogrim was nerfed, placing 2 poisons, 1 continuous heal now, double hit on the A1 ability, so a pretty sizable nerf for sure. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take these 2 for a spin here. The reason why I picked Ice Golem is you're going to see there's a lot of buffs these champions have on them that they do apply in the waves here. wave 1 and especially wave 2 with the Seekers here. But this guy is so tanky, you're going to notice it right away. He's going to keep Urogrim alive. Briefly commenting on Urogrim, because this isn't really a video talking about him. I'll make a separate one about him, giving the final thoughts on how to work with the nerfed version of this champion if you do want to continue still using him. What I personally found is if you're using him to solo any dungeons, you'll need around 30 more speed unless you're already using Frenzy gear. If you're using Frenzy gear, you won't have to make any changes to this champion. However, most endgame players are using Frenzy, maybe some late game players as well. So what the nerf did was it slowed the times down of him farming. He's not going to start failing runs, you're not going to see that at all. Assuming you did properly build him the first time, if you were barely getting through content while soloing him before, you're definitely not going to have a good time now. But like I said, I've done plenty of videos on Urogrim showing you the proper stats you need, so if you want to go back and look at those videos, just add 30 speed to that number, and the speed isn't that high either. I went from a 190 speed to 220, maybe 230 tops, and everything's working pretty smoothly. So this is the way we want to watch here. There's going to be tons of buffs on these champions slowly getting removed as they do hit this champion and as he counterattacks with that A1, with his chance to take the buffs from the opponents here. So we did almost lose him there from a flurry of critical hits there, meaning his speed isn't as fast as it should be, or a ton of consistency. However, I don't think that's going to be a problem once we get this heal perfect. That's exactly what I was talking about. Now we did see the passive double proc there, removing the increased defense on the right champion. Totally forgot his name, but that's fine. He's definitely great at locking down champions, as we do see the provoke consistently staying on these champions here, making it so Urogrim has free reign, not getting provoked, being able to cast his poisons as often as he can, because that's going to be the key here with the nerf to the amount of poisons he is dropping on all of the content now. Alright guys, so now we're at the boss. Let's see how we hold up to the damage check. Having attack down on the ice column is going to be gigantic. As we all know from the stats I did just show you, I don't have any resistance on Sigmund here, our fusion champion that we're looking at. So that's going to play a factor here, but I do want to damage check and see how this guy does survive. We're not fighting a green affinity boss, so he is not strong affinity. Everything's pretty equal, and as we all know, the ice golem does hit pretty hard. So we're going to see how this fragment fusion champion can hold up with a defense down on him. Assuming that the ads live long enough, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case, there's that defense down, so maybe we will get lucky and we will see the proc of Frigid Winds, I believe it's called. Let's take a quick look here. Frigid Vengeance, I'm not sure if he's going to cast it. Okay, defense down, no longer on the champions here. We're at 4 minutes, so as I said before, the times are going to be significantly slower than pre-Urogrim nerf, but the nerf version still is performing just fine. With all the information I did just say, based on you properly building it before, the teams that are going to struggle the most are going to be teams who aren't soloing, and they're using this for just normal content. However, as we can see here, if that is a huge deal for you, this fragment fusion might be the ideal champion to add, because these two champions together are pretty unstoppable, as we can see here, without a crazy amount of gear. I definitely over geared this, even for this endgame content being Ice Golem stage 25, as we can see 4 minutes and 43 seconds here, with incredible shielding from Sigmund, and of course the poison damage from Urogrim, who isn't even using War Master or Giant Slayer. Alright guys, that's going to be the rundown of this video on the Fragment Fusion Champion upcoming. What do you think? Do you think he's good? Do you think he's bad? Are you going to go for him? Let me know in the comment section. Where do you plan on using him if you do go for the champion? Are you like many of the endgame players who are going to get him simply because you can, because you haven't skipped any fusions in the past, and because once again, if you're endgame, there's not much to do in this game at the moment, so it's just something else to focus your time and effort on. Don't forget guys, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next video, and I will see you all in the next upload.